Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you. Hey everyone, Joshua Hamlin here at Brick Fair Chantilly. We've got a big space Star Trek inspired battle here for you. I've got both of the builders with me, so if you want to introduce yourself and give us an overview of what we have here.
Sure, my name's Robert, and so I built this space carrier, and I actually named it after my partner. It's the CVG-JE Butte, and it's a Butte. So I built this. Jim decided to build the Cerritos, and we wanted to have some fun with it, so let's play with some laser fire. And so we did. I've got ships attacking he's attacking me. I got some space debris that people told me can't be on fire, but I made it on fire in space anyway, just because we like to have fun with it.
I love it. So that takes us to Jim then, if you want to tell us about the ship that you built.
Okay, I'm Jim Butte. This is my take on the USS Cerritos from the Star Trek animated series Lower Decks. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, but I love building Star Trek ships because Star Trek ships are just goofy, impractical designs. Like, look at this piglet here. There's like 20 pounds of saucers and a bunch of big engines. And how are we going to stick it together, all these stupid little struts? So getting these things to stand up under their own weight is a challenge. And for me, the joy is the challenge. Okay, you got to make it look good, but you got to make it stand up. And you got to have functions like lights. I'm not a big lighted mock guy. Sometimes the subject matter or peer pressure will make you put lights and get out of your comfort zone. So subject matter, you got to have the big blue nacelles, and when the lights are out, it's a lot better. And then my friend and mentor Robert Clarity here, he's dragging me kicking and screaming into the space battle. So yeah, the peer pressure was there. But a good fun ship. They're Star Trek fans. They come around and they love it, so they enjoy that. And a good time whenever you get a chance to do a collaborative with somebody who's a better builder than you. You'll learn something. So it was a good time.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that, there are some difficult shapes and things in there. I know we've talked to you many times about your historic ship models, which also have some difficult shapes in them. So what have you kind of learned from doing those, and how did you tackle some of these challenges here?
Actually, a lot of the same techniques. So the brick bending, that whole thing is a big circle of brick bending. And then again, for structural integrity, inside there, my go-to technique is just building box girders out of plates. So inside there's box girders out of plates, and then structure to brick bend around it, and just get it to hold up. And again, the side of a starship is a little bit like the side of a warship. So yeah, I'm just cheating and reusing those techniques over again.
No, that's fantastic. Coming back to your spaceship over here, Robert, tell us about kind of your overall design goals and ideas, and then you've got movement in there. There's a lot happening.
Yeah, so I was kind of inspired by the Fifth Element and the spaceships that they had on there, and then I just wanted to kind of have fun with it. So, I was in the Navy, and I said, okay, let's put an aircraft carrier in space, and so that's exactly what I did. Not practical at all. I'm launching aircraft off a spaceship's flight deck. Which makes absolutely no sense, but it was fun. And I was watching Foundation, and they had gyroscopes that were the big engines that made them, fold space or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, let me make a gyroscope, and I want it to light up. And so started playing with induction lighting and the gyroscope effect, and I couldn't get a true gyroscope, so it looks like a gyroscope. So I pulled it off and fooled everybody, but. And then, I hadn't done a lot of greebling stuff before, so I added the greeble. And then, again, getting back to the Navy, 65 was a USS Enterprise. It was an aircraft carrier, so kind of a little Easter egg towards Star Trek and Jim's build. And that's it.
What were some of your favorite elements to use in greebling here on the side of the ship? And then we also haven't talked about the big greebled square there as well.
Yeah, so actually I found a lot of the little Technic plate-like pieces made great greebling, and then of course there's lots of little pieces. When I started out, I started doing it, and then I'm like, oh man, I need a whole lot more greeble. And so I'm buying parts off of Pick-a-Brick and Bricklink to try to just get some sort of effect. And then I'm like, I got to add guns and other things. And so yeah, it was interesting for the first time, really doing true greebling. And then for the Borg cube, that's another one of our builders, Mark, and I think he heard about our space battle and he said, "Oh, I got to be a part of that." So he went and did the Borg cube, which is just one big cube with a bunch of greeble on it. So and he did a great job with that as well.
How did you guys incorporate these kind of like lasers and the weapons and the battle aspect of what's going on here?
Yeah, so that was kind of the challenge, and we didn't know how it was going to turn out. So I bought some fiber optic tubing, and then we just got some, LED lights to flash, and it ended up working pretty well, and the effect worked out pretty well. And then Jim had some light tubing for his phaser fire, and yeah, it was kind of something we were playing with, and I think it turned out pretty well. Would you agree, Jim?
Oh, I would have just given the one word poorly as far as how we put that together, but yeah, yours is a more technically correct answer.
No, it creates some nice sense of action here, and then even like the various planes and things going into Jim's ship there is really nice as well. So I think it just really makes it a fun scene to look at. One thing I wanted to ask you about as well, Robert, with your ship is you've got this tiled kind of top to it, and there's even some kind of curvature to it there. So what did you have to do to make that work?
Yeah, so going back to Jim's discussion about brick bending, same thing. I used that technique, and then a couple of years ago, Lego came out with these big magnets in a city set, and so I acquired a bunch of them, not knowing what I would ever use them for, and so I actually used them in here underneath, and so they kind of hold it down and they allow that curvature to happen, and it, like I said, it turned out pretty well. Again, just as I told y'all at Brick Rodeo, I got into this brick bending trend, and I did that with my castle, and I did that with the spaceship, and so yeah, now I got to figure out what cool technique I want to try next.
Perfect. Now, as far as your Star Trek spaceship, Jim, when you bring that to a show, what's that process like? And then kind of getting this set up, is it all just one piece, or what's that do?
Oh, so the saucer is one piece, and it's remarkably, I guess, rigid as far as transport. I bring it. Don't tell my wife, I took one of her pillows and I bring it and I flip it upside down and I just transport it in the pillow, and the saucer does pretty good. The nacelles are each one piece, and then the base is the secret to getting it to stand up. The base won't let those nacelles slide out, because with all the weight, that thing would do the splits and just fall down if it had the option. So two big nacelles, the base, and then the saucer is remarkably good if you keep it on my wife's pillow.
And now that you're branching into this type of building, do you anticipate more spaceships in the future, or expanding on this battle?
Oh, yeah, well, maybe not this battle, but yeah, if there's one thing I like, it's fighting with clarity. But yeah, I love doing spaceships. When I'm building for me, it's often a spaceship. But I got the museum that wants a new boat every year and things like that. So yeah, I love building spaceships, and yeah, finding the right one to build is the fun part.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it.